Can you believe this? I think if this pajama thing I'm doing doesn't work out, I'm gonna get a job here. It's worth it. This is a very, very, very personal day for me, to be looking, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm sorry, I'm not. Bite my bottom lip, is that the trick? Thank you. For those of you who don't know why Pajama Program exists, I'm going to tell you what 3 things I think, and I ask you all to keep in mind, and I bet you do, but after 20 years, I can tell you they're the most important things. Listen to your heart voice, find your pajamas or your purpose, and remember that the human connection is everything. I use my phone too. I know how important technology is. But it's not more important than the human connection because of what you have to say to the world. When I was growing up, I wanted to be Mary Tyler Moore. I wanted to be career girl. I wanted to be single. I wanted to go out on dates like she did, even if most of them were bad, because I thought it would be funny like hers were. And I wanted to work in entertainment. Being the oldest of 4 in an Italian traditional family, my dad came off the boat, they did not have a clue why I would want to do this. They wanted grandchildren. It was not in my plan. So I worked hard, I worked 24/7. I was alone because I didn't have time for a husband and family. I wanted to reach the top of something in this wonderful city and be president of something in the entertainment business. So I went along my way, and I was doing just that. At 38, I was vice president of a marketing company in TV syndication. When I was wandering around my pretty apartment that I bought myself, I heard a voice. And I know we all hear voices from here every day, and we ignore them. This one, I know, came from lower. And it asked me, if this is the next 30 years, is this enough? And I was shocked. I had never heard that voice, but it was loud and clear, and I knew I missed something. And I was shocked when myself answered, you missed kids. So I didn't think my father from Italy would appreciate my going out and making a kid happen all by myself. So I said, I read the papers and I know in this city as in other cities there are shelters and there are children who have been abused and have been harmed, and they're in safe places now, but alone. So pre-9/11, you can do what I did. I called up shelters. I called the police. They told me where there were shelters. I called up and I said, I'm a nice lady. Can I come in at night and read stories to the children? And they said, you sound like a nice lady. Sure, come on in. Pre-9/11, you cannot do that now. Not that simple. But that's what I did. So I sat on the floor in my dress from work, clothes, sat on the floor, and I started reading to the kids. It was wonderful. I forgot about all my problems. I forgot about all the budgets. I forgot about all my bosses. I forgot about everything. But these little kids in their faces. So week after week I did it, and one day I followed where they were taking them to another room in the shelter. And I stared in disbelief because there were futons and couches, very nice staff, but helping them on 2 or 3 to a surface. A lot of them were crying, nothing to change into, and rushing at me were the memories of my mom and putting us to bed, which was nothing like this, and it was all wrong what I was watching. So what came out of my mouth also shocked me was, can I bring pajamas next week? And they said, that's really sweet, sure. So I did. After I read to those children that week on the floor, I told them I had a surprise, and I had them stand up. We all stood up, and they made a line, and one by one, I took out a pair of pajamas that I had bought that week that I figured would fit that child. One by one, quietly, they were taken to that room to go to sleep. One little girl wouldn't take them. She was shaking her head, no. I kept trying to coax her. She didn't want them. She was quiet all night. But she didn't want to go to that room to go to sleep yet. She wanted to watch. So she watched me give them out to all the other kids who did take them and go to the other room. Finally, she was the only one left with her staff. And I went over and I knelt down, and I had pink pajamas, and she was in, we call them floods, short purple pants and a top. Her ponytails were lopsided, and her sneakers were like 5 times too big. And I said, honey, don't you want these pajamas? I know they'll fit you. They're pink. They'll match your pants and your shirt. And she just stood there, and I coaxed her one more time, and I said, they're for you. I know they'll fit you. And she whispered to me, what are pajamas? And in that moment, everything switched. Now, I talk about heart voice, and I'm sure, and I'd love to hear all of your stories. And I talk about finding your purpose. I had no idea what I was supposed to do with this pajama thing. And maybe some of you, anybody here wondering what you're supposed to do to make it real? I didn't know what to do to make it real, but I knew this was what I was supposed to do. Give pajamas to kids. And the human connection is what, after 20 years, and I am telling you, you probably already know this, but it will be more important every day, is to tell your story. That's what you're doing as nonprofit leaders and founders. That's what you're doing as leaders, period. That's how we lead, because you are all leading, not just the nonprofit industry. You're leading the corporate world. You're leading the foundations. You're leading your neighbors, your community, and you're leading the world by showing that it's about connecting to each other. So we use our phones, yes, we use our tablets, of course we do. But get in front of people and tell them your story. Find that human connection. It's more important. Somebody will support you and write you a check and volunteer for you and tell your story to everyone they know because you made it real for them. You didn't just say, we're hoping to find a cure for cancer. You're saying, my 5-year-old daughter, my neighbor's 12-year-old, my grandmother suffered from this and I watched her every day. And I'm doing birthday parties because, and I'm reading to boys in barbershops because. I'm helping children write because this is what happened to this child and that child. So today is a day for all of you to share your stories, ask questions, ask real questions. This is an intimate day. And find out how, look at people's faces, find out how you can best connect so that when you're talking to everybody about what you're doing, they feel your passion. They hear it, they see it, they relate to it. And they're gonna be your best advocates. So if you remember one thing, just remember, listen to your heart voice, find your purpose or your pajamas, and connect with everyone about what you're doing.